Yeah, baby. Yeah. The Mac is back. Back with another video. Hello, the initiated. My name is Marcus Junikala, and today we're checking out Vessels by Noon Audio. What is this thing? Let's go to the website to learn more. There's a trailer, which I'm sure is nice. We won't spoil it for ourselves here. Vessels is an exploration of object resonance and sonic materiality. It's a bit poetic. I don't mind it. It's quite nice. I do understand object resonance and sonic materiality. I guess it's just sort of like referencing the sound of like different objects having sound, I'm guessing. An expansive collection of extensively sampled analog and digital synthesizers, ooh, nice, are recontextualized through contemporary and experimental reamping techniques. Okay, so at its core, basically, analog and digital synths through reamplification. And by reamping, it doesn't just mean like guitar amplifiers, but, well, let's keep reading. Precisely captured at the revered Holy Mountain Studios in Hackney. Ooh, Hackney. Haven't been in London in a while, but familiar place. Vessels transcends traditional synthesis, adding color, dimension, and physicality to the source material. So this is very much an approach that I love. There are other companies as well who have taken this approach. But I very much like this because there's something about the three-dimensionality that you get when you, of course, sometimes you want your synths to be very sort of, 2D and very present and so forth. But with a lot of cinematic music, you do want to have this organic quality. And sometimes you use a reverb, sometimes you can use a reverb that is sort of more space creating. So you get this nice kind of wraparound ambience there. But of course, the holy grail, if you will, is actually having the sound recorded through microphones in a space. And that does or can give you that sort of an X factor. So overall, I'm a big fan of this sound, this approach and this sound, because at least at the conceptual level, of course, delivery is a different thing. But I like it because it gives that organic twist to the sounds, and especially if you're doing orchestral type of stuff, it can really help your sounds sit nicer with something like an orchestra. The resulting recordings form a palette of raw, textured synth tones, imbued with the character and depth of the vessels they were born from. Ooh, I'm getting poetic again. I know I'm just making jokes about that, but I do rather like this form of writing. But here we have the interface picture, a selected presets video. Go check it out. So, Vessels presets are grouped into three banks: Convergent, Divergent, and Relics. So, Convergent, 220 sound design presets, which means we're in trouble. Forged from material resonance exploration. Cool. Using surface transducers to vibrate and drive metallic objects, the objects themselves become a new sound source. Nice. This is actually, again, at least the concept level, very, very, very interesting. Creating abstract elemental deviations from the original synth recordings. Combine oil drum and thunder sheet resonances with the original synth material to generate tonal and spatial variances, often resulting in unwieldy harmonic disturbances. Cool. So I wonder if these are just the two sources they use, or whether there's more. But yeah, that's cool. An additional thunder sheet layer was captured using a LOM... Come on. Geophone. I'll go with that. I'm pretty sure it's not. Geophone. Let's go with that. L'homme geophone. That's how it's pronounced. 100% accuracy. A sensitive omnidirectional contact microphone designed initially for seismic measurements. Damn. I gotta go see what that thing looks like. With a frequency response as low as 10 Hz, okay, the Jafon layer adds depth and power to the Convergent bank. Okay. Divergent. Another 220 presets, that's a lot, utilize the more traditional reamping techniques, okay? Synth samples were sent through 280 watt cabinets in stereo, which placed the source material within a physical environment and added width and color. Yeah, this is precisely what we touched on already, but yeah, really, I do dig this approach. Blend different mic feeds and outboard chains with the original recordings to create unique and unfamiliar synth tones that allow for extensive nuanced control before any effects are applied. Okay, nice. Captured with a pair of exquisite sunken. I don't know why I say it like I'm from Sweden, but I don't think it sounds very Swedish, but I'm sort of thinking German. I don't know where they're from, but CU41s. Its wide response produces flawless, I was going to say infidelity, but hopefully not that. Produces flawless fidelity and maintains the weight and detail of the source material. A pair of SM57s were also used, offering a bright, more characterful alternative to the Sankens, or Sanken. The original synth samples and the Sanken and SM57 mic feeds were also sent through the external signal processor of a Korg MS-20. These people are up to some. This is like borderlining crazy scientist mad experiment stuff. Overdriving an already slammed signal to create uncontrolled destructive results. Yeah, and I think the MS-20 is kind of often used for that overdrive sound, so it's, pretty tried and tested, and a lot of people like it. Relics. The Relics bank contains 20 presets. That's a big difference from 220. Create an alternate sound world of warmth and nostalgia. The source material has been re-recorded onto 1/4-inch tape and cassette before being sent through boutique effects pedals to form saturated, gritty textures, expanding Vessel's palette beyond the original material. Okay, so there's a lot of nice words here that I really like. Tape and cassette, I mean, I'm a big lo-fi sound lover, so good. And also boutique effects pedals I also do very much like. I used to have a lot, and then I sold them because I wanted something more useful for my actual workflow process. But I love the pedal world. It's there's so many really, really cool things in there. The relics remain untouched, primarily to preserve the patina generated by the process. Noise and warm distortion from the breaking signal transforms the sounds into something more organic and human. Cool. So this is all extremely appealing to me, at least at the conceptual level, like all of these things. So I very much like this. Preset banks and signal layers. Okay, video on that. Do watch that. Then there's a quote here from Aphex Twin. I'm guessing this is like a quote, like a blended quote. This is not like a testimonial about this library, if I understand it better. But basically he says, it's real, it's something in the air. That's the magical ingredient. When something moves through the air. And again, this is a reference to the point of reamping or re-recording or reamping and recording the sound in a space, because you get the effect of the space. So that's a reference to that, why they put it here. It's been in the real world and put back into the computer. It's a nice thing to do. So yeah, and again, this seems like it's a quote from him, not indirect reference to this library. Just, I mean, please do correct me if I'm wrong, but that's how I'm interpreting it based on this. It's not actually mentioned that's in reference to this library. Born from experimentation and in-depth research into object resonance. Yeah, we kind of touched on that. Sessions took place over the course of a year, allowing for concepts to be tested, dismissed, and refined. Yeah, so this is a really nice thing to have. I was going to say luxury, but I mean, I guess in some cases it is a luxury. You know, everybody can afford it, but yeah, creative process can take time, especially if you're building something like this. I'm sure you'd want to have as much time and resources at your disposal to test things properly, so you don't just, you know, dump something random into the world. So glad they could take up the time. There's an R&D video on this, which I actually very much do want to watch. We're not going to do so here on this on the stream, but I do want to watch that because, I mean, basically every single concept that's in this library speaks to me somehow. So I would very much want to see what that is about. So, as I'm filming this today, it's £99, and this seems to be just like a full price as far as I can tell. Let's go up to the top. Yeah, I can't seem to be able to choose a different currency here, but seems like full price is $99. I'm not sure when this video is going to come out, because I think this might be aligned with some kind of a sale that they're doing. So please do check their website, or if there is a specific link down in the description. So yeah, not sure when this is coming out, but do check the website, do check for sales and that kind of stuff. So make sure the pricing is what you expect and want. Also seems like, again, this is what sort of normally seems to be available. So this is a bundle of vessels and Tosca, which is their another library that they have. So you get 20% off when getting those together. Something called Universal Credit. I think this is some kind of a UK thing. So if you're in there and you do receive that, go check it out. Our frequently asked questions. Tech specs. Requires contact player 7.7.2 or later. Good. Mac OS 12, 13, or 14. Latest updates. Silicon Max. So this is again Rosetta 2. And natively on ARM in standalone or in hosts that support it. Okay, cool. Yep. Windows 10 or 11, Intel Core i5 or equivalent. Native access download, 460 unique patches, over 11,000 samples, 24-bit, 48 kilohertz, 25.7 gig samples compressed using contact lossless sample compression. So this is actually, when I'm contextualizing this size with what I've read about this seems a bit heftier at first. I mean, this is by no means a big footprint. A lot of libraries are very much bigger. So this is still a very good size footprint, but you might expect it to be lower based on what we read. But you have to remember that these are actual different samples that we have for each of these style of presets. So in this library, you might have a preset that has the same name, but it's done in a convergent or divergent manner. So that's why you basically have different or double the size, because again, these are actual waveforms being recorded. User manual. We're actually going to download it there for safekeeping. Installation manual, but I mean, as far as I remember, installation was just super straightforward from native access. Cool. That is the website. Let me go ahead and actually download this manual here. So I'm actually going to take you with me into the manual because there are a couple of things that I personally want clarification on. And also this is pretty useful usually to check out. So let's go to the preset banks. Those are the things we covered already. There's a very interestingly, there is a signal path, what do you call it? Blueprint, schematics, I don't know. Well, basically you can see how the signal path works. This is actually, I would say, unexpected from most companies. Most companies probably don't want to give away their secrets. So I think this is actually really cool because this can be useful to a lot of people and educating. And also from a user standpoint, it's nice to have this to know what this thing can do and what it can't do. And also this can help you understand how to operate this thing. So I really very much do appreciate the signal path because, again, it gives me information as a user about what this thing can do and how it works. These are the things I want clarification on because obviously in this interface you see these 4 big boxes quite prominently shown. So I wanted to make sure we know what they're doing, and I'll of course let you know what they're doing. Combine and blend between 4 mic layers that are accessible regardless of which page is selected. Okay, so simple enough. They are mic layers. That's very, very good to know because these are graphically, they can sort of, some people might think, oh, that's doing like a spatial thing and that's doing a reverb and maybe that's doing a distortion and maybe that's doing something else. So it's very good to know. What I'm thinking is I would like to know what each mic layer is doing. In each preset bank, layer 1 is always the source material. Very good to know. Raw recordings of a vast collection of analog and digital synthesizers are the foundation for every patch. So I think this is also super smart and powerful that you can just go in raw. I'm not going to make any jokes about that. I would never do that. I'm not so immature. But this is very cool because you can go into them and just use it as a raw sound in case, you know, some of the other processing things aren't your things. I'm actually going to also turn on my clock. I keep forgetting this because this thing, and then it will connect. There we go. This thing has a horrible battery life, despite being very otherwise nice. But it just about handles 1 session. When I bring it up or back on the table after loading it, you often forget to turn it on. Cool. Source material. That's good to know. Layer 2 adds a ringing intensity from a resonating oil drum in the Convergent bank and introduces the reamped signal captured by a pair of sunken CU41s in the Divergent bank. Okay, yeah, so this is good information to try and remember. So it's going to be different depending on whether you're in Convergent or Divergent. So Convergent, it's an oil drum, and in Divergent, it's the reamped mic thing. Okay, I will try and remember that. When using the Relics bank, layer 2 is home to re-recordings of the source material onto 1/4-inch tape. Good. We're going to see if how this is conveyed through the interface when we're actually using it. So far, I think not very clearly, so I would probably love to have that information on there in the actual interface as well. But this is, I mean, I love that it's so super clear here in the manual. Layer 3 brings a rounded muted tone from a resonating thunder sheet in the Convergent bank and offers the familiar reamped sound from a pair of SM57s in the Divergent bank. Good. So oil drum, thunder sheet, sunken, and SM57. Cool. Cassette re-recordings have been processed further using boutique effects pedals in the Relics bank. Cassette re-recordings have been processed further using boutique effects. Okay, that's a lot of processing going on. Layer 4 houses an additional thunder sheet. Okay, yeah, so this is the mega thunder sheet. Mega sheet. That's what I take in the morning. Too much information. Sorry. Layer 4 houses an additional mega thunder sheet layer recorded using a lomgephone, which is the omnidirectional, was it a contact mic? Acting as an unconventional sub-oscillator. Layer 4, okay, cool, interesting to know or hear about that conceptually. Layer 4 offers depth and weight to the Convergent bank. Okay, good. In the Divergent bank, Layer 4 brings an uncontrolled destructive power created by the Korg MS-20. Micro cassette recordings have been processed further using boutique effects pedals in the Relics bank. Micro cassette, and this one was cassette recordings. Okay, I will try my very best to try and keep this in my head. I know it's not super complex, but hey, my brain is barely handling my life right now, so please bear with my squirrel brain. Okay, reset parameters, mod wheel, controls the amp volume, not the global volume. Okay, good to know. Moving the mod wheel will modulate the sound source before either chorus or reflect effects, allowing performances to bloom and disappear while reverb and atmosphere decay remain. Okay, cool. And that makes sense based on the signal thing that we saw. Cool. Pages. Form page for submenus to allow you to sculpt. So basically amp envelope and filter envelope. EQ, low pass, high pass, filters, resonance, basic stuff. Cool. Distort. Warmth, nonlinear amplifier. Type determines the type of saturation, so analog, digital. Cool. Strength. Distorts the signal by rounding off high sample values. Okay, cool. Tube transistor. Damping attenuates high frequencies. Lo-fi adds various digital artifacts. Good. Crush re-quantizes the signal to an adjustable bit depth. Like bit crushing. Noise adds hiss. Compress. So this is pretty basic stuff. So voice allows harmonic manipulation of any MIDI input. Chorus effect, depth, rate, phase, pretty basic stuff there. Unison, detune, spread. Harmony introduces an additional note interval for every triggered note. You can adjust the harmony control between minus 11 semitones and plus 11 semitones. That's very cool, actually. I'm happy to see that it is kind of engine-based rather than being baked into the samples. I don't know if some are baked into the samples, but this is good to know. I would prefer this approach, in case, because a lot of the time you hear sounds and then you're like, ooh, okay, there's a interval introduced there, and then you would probably want to get rid of it, but then you can't if it's actually in the sample. So I would prefer this approach as long as it, sonically and otherwise makes sense. Portamento effect. Nice. Reflect. Spatial controls. There is natural reverberation that occurs when a sound source is placed in an acoustic environment. And then you have pre-delay. Good. Size. Adjusts the size of the room or the reverb or ambience, whatever you want to call it. And then you can adjust color for that. Okay, so convolution is separately. Entirely overhauled convolution reverb effect. 24 impulse responses. Cool. So this is interesting to be paired with the approach where you actually record sounds in spaces. But it sounds like they have probably made those mic positions and those recordings less about the space. We'll have to see how dominant. What's the word I'm looking for? How, yeah, let's go with that. How apparent the sound of the space is in the recording. I'm guessing they're focusing on just the reamping sound rather than the sound of the space. So convolution is there. Cool. Is there anything a bit about delay? And this seems to... Pulse page has some LFOs. Nice. Cool. I think that just about does it for us. Let's close the manual. We'll try and remember where everything is. Cool. So let's go through some of the basic stuff. So in terms of the agenda for this video, I just aim to play as much of Vessels to you as possible, and we're going to do so by going through as many of these presets as we can. I think there was 460 presets in here, so we will unfortunately not be able to play all of them for you, but we'll try and cover as much ground as we possibly can. Basically, the way we're going to do that is I'm going to preview sounds from the menu that you see on the left, and when there's something that speaks to me especially, then I'll open it up and play some stuff with that. But yeah, in short, I just want to play as many presets for you as possible so that you can get an idea of what this thing sounds like and whether it is for you or not. We're not going to get super technical in this video, so if you're looking for something like that, best to search for another video or go check out the Noon Instrument resources. I'm sure there's a lot more information in that regard there. But going through the website and the manual doesn't seem like this is in any way like a convoluted instrument, technically speaking. At least I've personally found all the information I need to operate this thing, and it looks to be super clearly laid out. In terms of what you'll be hearing today, it is only Vessels in action. I don't add any effects of my own on top of this whatsoever. No EQ, no reverb, no nothing. So everything you hear is just Vessels in action. I do have a limiter on my master bus to make the level more consistent for this video, but that's only for, again, level purposes, for your enjoyment for this video, so that it's nice and listenable without a lot of volume hopping. That said, the limiter is set to be as transparent as possible, so you should hear minimal, if any, coloration from that. If you happen to hear any clipping, it's probably because we're blowing out the limiter with something too loud, but we'll make the adjustments, so just bear with me as we do that. And certainly if I hear any exceptional clipping or distortion that doesn't come from the limiter, I'll let you know either way, but that's highly unlikely. In terms of transparency, Noon Instruments did send me this copy, so thank you to them for doing so. Also, this video is done in collaboration with Noon Instruments, in the sense that I am being compensated for my time that it takes to check this out and do this video production and editing. That being said, as always, all opinions are my own, both in good and bad. I haven't been asked to say anything one way or the other, nor would I ever do that. Is there anything else we need to cover here? Oh yes. In terms of what I usually want to do is do like a blind demo. I do want to read up on the manual and the website to kind of know what I'm going to face. But other than that, I want to go in rather blindly. This time it's not going to be quite as blind, because I actually received Vessels quite a long time ago from Noon Instruments, and I did try and film this video back then. This was a long time ago already, so I did get I don't know, some way into the library, but that being said, again, that was a long time ago, and it was a long time ago. Does anybody know that reference? I don't know, probably not. So yeah, not completely blind to this, but like I said, it's sufficient time ago that I don't actually remember much. It's more like general impressions. So I'm actually very interested in jumping back in here and seeing how those impressions compare. Also, I do want to give my, again, my apologies to Noon Instruments publicly here as well, because I said back then that I would check out vessels, then I couldn't, because I remember I actually probably had a migraine, or then I had to go to the hospital, and then I kind of like, lost track of it. And now I'm so busy that I can't really do demos unless I properly, account for the effort and time that goes into making these. So again, I've apologized in the email already, but I wanted to do so also in this video, in fairness, so that everybody knows, this whole thing. But this instrument was super cool. When they first reached out to me, I was like, absolutely, this looks extremely down my alley, so I want to check it out. And so I'm really happy we're able to arrange me getting back into vessels and checking this out properly, and this time hopefully not going to the hospital or having a migraine or whatever else was going on back then. So we'll actually be able to finish this video. So super excited to get into it once again. Is there anything else regarding that I want to touch on? I don't think so. But yes, this is very much like as blind otherwise as you can be, because again, like I said, I only have some general impressions that I do remember from this library. But I just thought I'd mention that so you know where I'm coming from and what my experience with this was, or what my, shall I say, what my past with this instrument has been like. Cool. I think that covers the basics here. Let's take myself to the DAW. First of all, just touching on this interface thing, I very much like this. Again, it's one of those minimalistic approaches that I do tend to very much prefer. It makes things very creative and nice to work with. There's not too much information cluttering me, so I can actually focus on making music and interacting with the instrument. That being said, there isn't immediately anything here that I'm, longing for. Again, we have these pages for, the ADSR and other controls, distortion, chorus, harmony, some reverb stuff, and then the LFOs. And other than that, we have the 4 different microphone positions here. I do wish that there was a bit more information on here so that somebody doesn't have to look up the manual in terms of knowing what these things do. I know that if you put too much information there in terms of text or otherwise, it will spoil and cramp up the minimalistic styling. But even, when I hover on these different elements and I have the information panel on here from contact in the bottom right corner, would be useful to have a bit more information when I hover on these things. That way the interface wouldn't be cluttered up with information, and I would know, or rather remember, even when I know what each layer does. So having some kind of a way or an optionality of having a name or a reminder for each layer would be very much appreciated. Like I say, even as somebody who knows what they do, it would be nice, because 1, 2, 3, and 4 as layer namings is perfectly fine. But again, like an optionality of knowing, of seeing either permanently or for momentarily what these things do would be nice. But yeah, usually like a click of like choosing whether you want to see it or not would be nice. Obviously not an issue once you're familiar with this thing, but I would assume a lot of people jump in here immediately and then they're like, I have no idea what this is doing. I mean, they hear the difference, but they might not understand it. So something would be nice with that. And I would at least start with the information box information being more comprehensive than saying just 1, 2, 3, and 4. Cool. So that's my main sort of suggestion there. But other than that, this looks fantastic. I like the look. I love the graphics here. These are very cool, very engaging. I personally find these to be a big deal when it comes to using a library, being inspired by it, feeling creative with the library, and also the longevity of it as well, you know, because this kind of stuff makes the process very, it kind of creates a certain connection to these instruments. So I do very much like these. And this has kind of like a lo-fi, gritty, broken type of a grainy vibe to it, which I very much like. I mean, obviously these go for a very grainy look. So I very much dig this visually speaking. But again, all that being said, everything is super clearly laid out. And I can easily wrap my head around this instrument. I don't need to wonder like, oh, where are the menus and where's this stuff? It's very easy to just keep track of it in my head. Because I'm one of those people who need to build a mental model inside my head before I can actually like properly wrap myself around something. And this happens very fast. So I think that's a statement of how impressive the design is. Now, whether I would want to have additional control somehow, we'll loop back to that at the end of this video. But at least out of the gate, I'm very, very happy or content with this. So what I can see here is that these open up as, I'm guessing NKIs is the correct term, rather than snapshots within Contact. So that makes navigation a bit different, but that's the choice they've gone through. Again, this is something we're going to revisit at the end. But in terms of navigating through this library, I mean, it's good that we know which sounds are convergent, but maybe even having further categorization for this folder in terms of like types of sounds would be super useful. So having like subfolders in terms of categorizing the quality or the tone or the type of sound within Convergence would be really, really useful. Again, 220 presets is not impossible. I mean, this is like, if you work with this a lot, you'll familiarize yourself with it quite well and find the things that you enjoy. But still, for navigation and also getting to know a library, for those purposes, would be nice to have further folders, even within this Convergent or Divergent category. One thing to know again here, if I'm learning this MIDI automation here, these knobs that I have would be pretty much perfect for controlling this. And it works beautifully. I love this. I mean, I have to figure out a way to make this last, because when we change the NKIs here, the MIDI learning doesn't transfer across because it's a different NKI as I understand it. If it was a snapshot within that instrument NKI, these would stay, but they don't. So I don't actually... There is a way to make it last, I'm sure. But just as a note as to why I'm not using these, because that would be my preferred model. That's not happening here because these, again, are not snapshots, but rather different NKIs. So that's the explanation for that. One of the things also that I can't quite figure out is how the preset scrolling is working. So we have beginning numbers selected here at the top. If I click from the instrument panel from here, from the top, click next, it jumps to number 2, summon Convergence. And if I do that again, it jumps to number 3, moon. So I don't know on what basis that is happening. I get that it's going from 1 to 2 to 3 to the next, but I don't know why it's skipping everything else here in between. That information would be extremely useful to have. So yeah, checking the email I had with Noon Instruments, they say the presets in both the Convergent and Divergent banks are identical. It is the source material itself that separates them. So that makes sense because we know the mics change depending on which bank you're in, and otherwise that it would do the same thing. That makes complete sense. Again, I don't get clarity here for this numbering system. Meaning, what does it mean that a preset has 0, 1 next to it? Are these like different types of sounds? I don't know. I guess I literally cannot find this information, so we'll just have to get our hands dirty and figure it out for ourselves. Also, it seems like it's not going to be possible to go based on convergent and divergent sounds, because even when I search here in the bar, in contact, when I choose a preset or load it up, it resets the search, which sucks because then we can't actually keep that window there open. We could still just select convergent sounds, but on the other hand, I would like to compare sounds with one another, opening a convergent one and then a divergent one, seeing the differences. So I think what the right call is to still go based on these different categories. And I actually think I want to start with divergent because it seems like it's going to be maybe a bit easier to digest. I'm guessing having these reamped synth sounds from the speakers or the amps is going to be sort of more, maybe for most people, and maybe more, I don't know, demonstrative of this sound. So we're going to go with that. I'm going to pick some divergent presets here first, and after that convergent presets, and then pick out the relics after that. So let's get into it. Ooh, I can't go past a sound that sounds like that. Again, contact preview sound is quite a bit louder than mine. Of course, I can adjust it here, but we'll see how that balance goes. Okay, so I actually do dig that pitching here. It's a really cool vibe. It goes for that very specific type of a video game sound, but I'm going to neutralize this just to test it out. Yeah, beautiful. I actually love that this is in the engine. I know a lot of people don't put it in the engine because they want to have like a more authentic sound, and that's why they bake pitching stuff in libraries. It can work, but it's so annoying when you find a perfect preset and it has like a baked in pitch thing and you're like, oh, I wish I could get rid of that, and you just can't. So I personally love this. beautiful. And we're just open to preset. I mean, obviously, I like this because it has that video game retro sound. I want to actually, let's just really quickly learn this these controls here. I'm probably going to do this when I find something that I like, but I think this is the fastest way to demonstrate stuff for you. So again, this is the raw layer here. Cool, let's pull that back. Let's do layer 2, which I'm trying to remember what it does. It's reamping something. Oh fuck, we gotta get this user manual. I know this is super frustrating to some people because they're like, Marcus, can't you remember very basic stuff? And to that I'd say, you try having 2 kids that are both, the one is a baby and the other one is 3, and then you have too many jobs to even speak about, and you have mysterious health issues that nobody can solve. So that's my excuse. Okay, we'll keep this. Okay, layer 2 in the Divergent reamped signal captured by a pair of sunken. Yeah, you see, I remembered it. Okay, so we shouldn't have anything else going here. Okay, I can boost the level here a bit. Cool. It has like a bit more hair to it. Let's try the raw again. Yeah, definitely more like 2D up front. Obviously, we do have the effects on top of there. Again, layer 2. Yeah, again, so that it has that kind of softness, that roundness, sits a bit differently. Let's do layer 3, which I totally remember what it does again. Okay, so this is SM57s. Yep. Cool. I'm going to try it compared to the sunken. Yeah, that's definitely softer. Yeah, that's kind of brighter and sharper. And then layer 4, this should be the Korg MS-20. Interested in hearing what this sounds like. That's very nice. I thought that would be like, there's a perfect amount of crispiness to that. There's like that kind of a distortion almost that you get from like, I love the sound of like when I had my Game Boy Color and it would begin to distort the speaker itself there. I would love that. You get that nice crispy waveform coming out of that crappy tiny speaker. Actually really like that. Here, the differences can be quite subtle in some presets. This is something I do remember from my previous, when I had a look at this. I remember that some of the controls are very nuanced, but I do remember thinking back then that it's actually, some people might be critical of that, saying, oh, it's not a bit too, big of a difference, so why does it matter? But it is a nuanced thing, and I think once you begin to demand enough from your tools, these kind of things can really make the difference between whether a sound really fits in a mix or doesn't. Um, and those slight changes in tone and color and texture can be super, super important once you start getting hyper specific about your music. And sometimes you have the sound and you're like, oh yeah, it's great. But then you start in the mix, realize that it could be slightly different. And in those kind of cases, oftentimes slight changes, I mean, the sooner we do something in the recording process, the bigger of an impact it has. And if I could change how something was recorded, like change the mic on this voice, that could make a drastic difference in how the voice, for example, the voice fits in the mix. And I would say probably every single mixing engineer would love to have the optionality of changing the microphone that was being used as something was being recorded, like in the mix phase. That would be like a superpower. And they're praying the audio gods for something like that. So from that perspective, this is like absolutely fantastic. I'm sure we'll see more examples of where the differences are more drastic. This sound is obviously using very simple waveforms for that, and gives us that kind of a retro video game vibe. So probably not the best source to be using for as an example, but interesting to see how the differences begin to kind of manifest or develop here. So yeah, let's go to the next preset. Ooh, I like this. Very nice, crispy 80s vibe. Let's try and find a good level there, but I am getting so excited. Okay, so I got to do the walk away. There's so many things I want to touch on here. First of all, it's very impressive here how this has a beautiful, like, grainy, veiled top end to it, but the body of it is like very, very solid. Like it's super difficult to do kind of veiled, grainy sounds that still sound full at the same time. And this has like that solid basis. Like when I look at it's sort of that 100 hertz to like 200 gives it that solidity. That's a word now. But then you have this grainy haziness at the top. Very impressive. Also interesting. I can see that the compressor kicks in here. Where is it again? Like I can see the top end being clipped in the instrument. It's not the limiter, but it's like being. There's a limiter there, or compressor. So again, it must be here. Do we? Okay, so that's at 0%. Interesting. Where is that coming from then? No, it can't be from here. This is just an added curiosity for me. It's probably not very interesting or useful to anyone else. As far as I can tell, the compressor could be the only thing that's... Oh, wait a minute. Compressor is set to be at 30%. But wait a minute. But we have, I'm guessing that's the mix for it. And the compress, this is the 30% on the left must be the intensity of it. But we're clearly getting something is limiting the sound there. Because I see being chopped off at the top there and not due to my limiter. Anyway, cool. I mean, it could be also baked into this. Would that make sense? I'm trying to think my way through this. I guess it could make sense if it's in the waveform files themselves, that when they get to the higher intensity, then it could. I'm trying to see if there's something interesting here. Can't be. I wonder. Yeah, I guess my best guess there would be, so these do exactly what I suspected they do. I'm guessing it has to be in the audio examples there. Cool. Once again, I love that I can go here into the harmony and get rid of that tuning there. But again, I love the sound there, and that kind of creates a certain type of a music if you would start to write with that. But I'm going to neutralize it. Cool. Again, I do want to MIDI learn this real quick here. I want to hear the differences here, where those sounds are coming from. This is actually also very interesting as like a teaching educational tool, because you can learn the differences of these different approaches and what kind of results they create for you. So if you're like an audio nerd, which you should be, let's be fair, then this is also like very, very interesting to you. And also once you wrap your head around what the differences are, I'm sure like this opens up in a completely different way in terms of being a tool that you are so like intertwined with and locked in with, and then you can just use it super fast and be like, oh, I want to make that softer, I want to make that sharper, I want to make that colder or grittier. So very cool. So this should be the complete raw signal. So already sounding super, super nice. And again, we get this just a different tone, different approach with this. So this is the layer 2, which again is the sunken microphones in stereo. It's interesting. It's sort of like a bit more chilled, chilled, but then there's a bit of a accentuation at the top, but also a bit of a roundness there. I was not expecting that. So yeah, clearly brighter, thinner compared to the sunkens, which are here again. So it's not fair to say the differences are subtle, because they are definitely very noticeable. But this is like, I would call this like high fidelity toolkit for tweaking these sounds, because it's still the same sound, but you just get this different perspective on it. So I'd see this like, obviously we can go ahead and mix these with one another as well. I would probably, like, the way I see it is, I find a sound that I like and I would probably emphasize a single layer that I really dig. Usually, I mean, I prefer to find like a single thing that works really, really well. So I would probably pick a sound that I like, find the mic that I like the most. If it's missing something, yes, I can add in stuff for sure. But this gives me that again, that toolkit, that ability to fine tune, customize the sound specifically for the type of sound and mix that I'm going for. And the way I see it is, since we have that raw sound, we can do more like electronic focused stuff. And with these different, especially these two different micings here, you get a lot of ability to mix this sound in with especially something like an orchestra. So I really, really dig that. Let's try this layer 4, which again is the MS-20. It's a slight, just a hint clipping there, but I think the brunt of that is coming from the sample itself. Let me pull back a bit and try this again. Yeah, maybe a tad of that before was the limiter. Yeah, it's really interesting because the volume gets to the top and it's like, it seems like in the samples themselves, it's sort of like flat lines there, or is clipped. Let's see if there's, yeah, still compression should be completely off. So I think that's what is happening here. Very cool. Yeah, I'm getting flashbacks of like discovering this, realizing that, oh, these are like very nice nuance controls here. Let me... Actually, I want to play this raw sound, and I'm going to introduce some of these other layers, just to kind of demonstrate how they pair. Yeah, I mean, this will allow you to have like such detailed, subtle control over your sounds. Let's move on to the next. And this doesn't look good because I want to play so far just about everything we've come across. So really good. I really dig that layer 4. It's a really good one. So far it seems like the Sunkens, when they come in, it's slightly like the top end roll off, so a bit like softer, rounder. We get a bit more enhanced low end, so it's a bit juicier, a bit bigger, and a bit softer. And then basically the SM mics give you like a mic. You get that mic'd presence, and also with the Sankens you get this presence of, again, like this 3D-ness into the sound. You get a physical sense of it being here or there. But yeah, so the SMs gives you that same feeling, but it's definitely brighter and sharper. So these are really good options to have, because you can then tilt the sound whichever direction you want them to go. Yeah, really, really good sounding ARP there. I mean, I want to do this because it seems like a bit of a cinematic thing. Yeah, it's really cool to have that level of control in terms of tone, color, texture for the same sounds. I think this absolutely has to be one of the strengths of this library, because when you find that thing that you really like and want, this just really allows you to fine tune and really define the type of sound you want to go for. I mean, I have to do these retro blippy blop things for sure. I mean, that sounds so good. Okay, so it's monophonic. So this is actually interesting because I don't think we've a single time discussed polyphony at all. And I don't see a way to adjust this. Okay, I do. It's just that the ARP was on, which is one of the common suspects. Easy to miss. That's my defense. That is the limiter clipping. Sometimes when you stack the notes, they, again, gain level, of course. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm gonna walk away. So, this, I mean, first of all, these source sounds are superbly good. I'm just gonna MIDI learn this real quick because I want to do it this way. Let's just do the raw sound first. Okay, well, let's forget that I just played the wrong notes. This is the Sanken microphones. I mean, that's just so beautifully puffy. Let's do the SM mics. Yeah, it's really cool when the differences are, like, I was afraid that these SM mics would get like really harsh and brittle. That hasn't happened yet at all. It's just give you like a different take on it. I love how like round and puffy the Sanken mics are, but also the SM gives you this kind of like sharpness and presence, which you might need. Like, for example, I could be writing a song and I could use this synth as the main thing. And I could do the intro in a certain sound, the verse in a certain sound, and then do the chorus in a certain sound. And I'm pretty sure as we'll come to the Korg, the MS overdriven sound here, it's going to be really, really good. But you can see how I just love this approach. It just gives you so much flexibility and such a like a nice natural way of changing and morphing your sound as you go through a song. This is the Sanken mics again. So again, this is like nice, round and soft. Then you have the SMs. So again, it's subtle, but it's sharper. And then we have the Korg sound, the overdriven MS-20. So beautiful, like a crisp retro edge to it, like the sound distorting almost through like a speaker. It's not like a speakerized emulation type of thing, but that's the vibe that I'm getting, and I think it's perfect. And that's really nice because it's sitting at a very nice, like, crisp point. It's sharp, crisp, but it's not harsh at all. So, yeah, I mean, I love this. Next preset. I mean, I'm in trouble because I just want to do all of these. Really, really nice. What I like, even though we have these pre-pitch shifting or the harmonization there, I actually really like these out of the gate, which is kind of rare, but they're going for like a very specific vibe and style, and actually like it. I'd be very interested in learning what kind of bands and groups they like. So I'll definitely be asking about that. I'm gonna again neutralize the harmony here. And this is the beauty here, because I'm liking that. I'm loving that. To me, again, it has a bit too much of other things. So what I want to do, I want to start with the Sanken mics here. Check what that sounds like. Cool. I'm gonna test the Korg. Interesting. I'll test the raw sound. Yeah, so this is really cool. You can just sort of navigate your way into the kind of tone you're after. I would probably, for this, I'm thinking I probably want to go for a very broken sound. Let's see how far we can push that. Yeah, obviously I'm just playing around here, but I love that. And this, what's really cool about this, what I like to do is basically like pitch your lo-fi to your sound. Of course, that depends on, for pad type of things, it's really possible because you can, play a chord and then tune the lo-fi to really match nicely with your harmony and sound. I really like this. This sounds really cool. I also like how you begin to push the compressor there, and it's like it begins to struggle because it kind of trying like chewing on the sound, and it creates this kind of nice not glitchy brokenness, but something in that ballpark. Very cool. Very cool. Let's move on. I mean, you know we're going to do it. If you hear anything like that, we're going to do it. That is the limiter crapping out. Again, very, very lovely sound. I am going to remove the harmony here. So I like it. The thing here, I mean, first of all, this sound works super nicely. Like, for example, I could write something with that, 5 semitone stuff there. Again, like, to me, this sounds like there's too much stuff going on, too many layers. It's sort of getting a bit too thick. I never thought I would say that there's such a thing as being too thick, but I mean, I guess mentally probably not the best thing, but let's go layer by layer. Let's do the raw sound here. Also, what would be cool is to see and know what the source sound is. Again, just from a curiosity, but also learning perspective. Would be super cool to see, like, okay, oh, this is coming from a Casio, for example, of this model. That would be super, super nice. This has a kind of an interestingly dim tone to it. Let's try the distorted version. I think the artist Disaster Piece would probably like this synth a lot, because it sounds like him. Yeah, again, there you have that darker, rounder, less bright tone there. Yeah, wonderful. I could also, again, go in here, add a bit of lo-fi to this. If I went with some of these less bright sounds. It's a bit harsh on the ear, a bit brittle. Oh yeah, I guess it could also be true when I was thinking about the capped top end. It could come from, depending on how this works, could come from the saturation as well. But I guess those sounds weren't really saturated enough for that to be the case. So I'm still guessing samples. Let's move on. I mean, yeah. I mean, this is just so good. It's so good. Love it. Again, there's that beautiful graininess, beautiful haziness that I can't think of any other synth based library that kind of delivers that. This has a very unique color to it. It's that beautiful graininess, beautiful haziness, that kind of a thing going. It's absolutely wonderful sounding. Super cool. Again, a lot of really cool textures here. I'm just gonna MIDI learn this real quick. There we go. So I want to check out this distorted layer. There's a lot of really cool movement going on here, like slight shifting. Let's check out this. Okay, so yeah, a bit of unison, harmony, there's nothing there, a bit of octave. Yeah, I mean, just like slight tiny things that shifted around. But what's actually remarkable is that a lot of the time when you do stuff like that, very easily things become phasey and they begin to lose punch. And what's really impressive here is that this is has the punch and the character and the texture, but it's all still very full and coherent and again punchy. So not easy to do. Nice organ-like thing. Oh, this sounds really good. So again, this is a great example of, let's go check out the harmonization here. So it's, okay, -7 semitones. Really interesting. Again, usually 9 out of 10 times, okay, maybe that's too much because I do check out stuff that I'm actually interested in. But a lot of the time when we have a predetermined harmonization in something, I don't tend to dig the stuff a lot. Maybe it's like good for a specific type of a genre, but getting this many hits of the ball out of the park for this pitch stuff really says that like their taste and style for this kind of pre-harmonized or pitched stuff really aligns with a lot of the stuff that I would do if I were to pursue that type of a sound. This is really, really interesting because this is also an interesting choice because you can harmonize this with this in a typical fashion, but this kind of adds a very, very interesting tone and color to it. I'm going to neutralize that. It's a really, really good sound. Also here, I could make the release less. Yeah, again, a lot of this, obviously I'm leaning to kind of the retro gaming type of stuff because I like that. But again, if you do more of a sustained sound, you can do a lot of like, I don't know which kind of bands it reminds me of, but like a very specific, like darker electronic style. This kind of stuff works really, really well. Let's try out this one. Again, we have some fifths added in here. It's beautiful to hear how full those sounds are once you do actually introduce that harmonization. Which really indicates to me that they know what they're doing to create like that sort of fullness there. Let's go to the next one. Okay, yeah, this sounds like my kind of a thing. Let's actually pull up that volume just a bit there. In contact. This might be a bit loud. Let's pull back a bit. Okay, so let's adjust that. We have that harmony there, so let's move that first. Unfortunately, we are distorting the limiter here as the voice is stacked, so let's pull back a bit more. I mean, this is just my type of stuff. This is incredible. I do want to make it sustain less for sure. Yeah, I mean, in case you didn't notice, that's my kind of a jam. Yeah, I mean, I just love this. Obviously, this again has those kind of retro video game vibe things, and with a bit of lo-fi brokenness, or a fair bit, I should say. But yeah, it's amazing, and we didn't even dig into any of these layers. It's just like the pre-made mix. But I could check this out. Obviously, this is a bit disguised by the lo-fi effect, so I just pulled that out. And that is, our limiter for some reason accidentally boosted a lot. Cool. Let's move on to the next one. I mean, we've got to do a space band, don't we? I dig that. There's obviously, again, what I love about this is that you can take this into so many different directions. You can go to the individual mics, you can play with the effects. I really love the fact that this is so easy to map out in your head. You know where things are, you go to them, you tweak them. It's all so immediate, intuitive, fast, really well laid out. And not once have I been left wanting for anything. And I get a lot of that must come from the fact that we do have this mic control for these sounds. We do have a lot of optionality to go with the raw sound or slightly different mic tones. Well, I shouldn't say slightly, but I mean, what I like about them is that they're not drastically making me think, oh, this is a different sound altogether. It's still the same sound. So I know I can go in there and sculpt it. That this is kind of the, I shouldn't say hidden genius of this, because it's not hidden per se. It's in plain sight and an obvious part of this. But I really can't praise enough how, because I can see how a lot of developers would have the urge or feel the necessity to make these layers like drastically different and super, super different. And I think here it's like they've made the decision to say, we're still doing the same sound. This is going to be the same sound, but you're just going to get different colors. You get the raw, you get the slightly rounder, fuller, darker version of it, a slightly thinner, brighter version, and then you get this more distorted. But it's all done super maturely. There's not once where I thought, ooh, that's a bit overdone or that's a bit underdone. It's so like meticulously subtle and refined. I really, really appreciate that. Very, very cool. I mean, what's beautiful about these is how every element in this preset is like singing together. I mean, again, here we have the harmony to do the fifth there. I don't know why I struggled to say that. Fifth. Let's go with that. It's just like done with such understanding of how these different sonic elements really come alive together. And also, I will say, a lot of these, again, having these pre-harmonized elements, they do inspire me a lot. Because again, when you kind of throw like a curveball in there by pre-changing some of the harmonization, makes you think differently about what you're doing. And again, here, you're just sort of like listening and thinking in your head, okay, well, if I put a fifth there, what is that going to do? It's really, really cool stuff and really inspiring. I actually liked a lot of the moments just there that I could actually would love to write a piece based on that. And again, there's no higher praise in my book than that, and actually wanting to write music with this. Again, same thing here. I mean, you could do some wonderful lo-fi stuff with that. And again, you just can jump in here and change the harmonization, which I just love. I mean, having access to that, I think it's brilliant they did it this way. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. So again, looking at this, -7 semitones makes sense. Again, it's just I love this because this really makes you think differently in terms of composing music. I really, really like this. It's a really inspiring approach. And again, you can go in there and undo the harmonization if you want, but this really makes you think differently. It kind of challenges the whole, paradigm of sort of, typical compositional approach in terms of tonality. And again, this is a great example of what we just talked about, but with just a slight detectable something being off. But you can still work within tonality to a fair bit. That's really cool. beautiful. So many things, slight shifting things. Also, I want to check in here. We have, yeah, nothing going on with the harmony, but there's something, they're slightly shifting around that is creating this kind of sense of a drifting shift. Probably guessing the LFO here. No? Very interesting. What I want to do, okay, size is maximum. Okay, so it's set to be wash. Okay, that's... Okay, so these are really interesting, actually. Wood chamber, tiled booth, piano, orchestra, cathedral, gloom, haze, metal, mist, fog, wash. Okay, these seem really cool. I'm going to choose endless because that sounds very big. That is the limiter crapping out. I boosted the convolution too much. Cool. Anyway, let's jump to the next preset. Very, very cool stuff in here. So yeah, this does the fifths, which kind of explains some of that vibe. Yeah, I mean, just very cool vibes, slow-fi, wonky. Yep. Again, here, what is beautiful is that it does have that grainy veiled top, but it's still full and super like clean and focused sounding. That's really, really, a really cool sound. It has that kind of sci-fi vibe, but a bit of like something dystopian and broken. Yeah, very cool. We really gotta start being more cruel with this selection, because we're barely scratching the surface here. Jeez. Yeah, there's just so much stuff in here. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to be like super selective about stuff so that we can actually get to the end of this demo. That is clipping. That's what it sounds like. And it's the limiter. Okay, so it feels like there is an arpeggiator on. Beautiful. Love this kind of stuff. Really simple, beautifully full. Get that perfect sense of ambience in there. Yeah, harmony getting a bit dense with making it too complex. I mean, listen to how that hits. Again, it has that beautiful grainy, hazy top end, but how, like... I mean, such a beautiful, punchy, clear, precise, pristine sound, but you get that graininess, that washiness there, which is really, really super cool. Again, a bit of pre-harmony in there. loving this. Okay, so what I got to do here so that we can actually get to the end of this demo at some point is I'm going to choose one Divergent preset based on simply name in each 10 category in here. So that way we can actually get to the Convergent as well at some point. So basically in the number 16, I'm going to choose one preset, number 17, one preset. We gotta do that so that we can actually finish this. I mean, this is just so much fun that I just want to keep going, but probably not best to make this video like 8 hours long. So very cool sound. A lot of different directions you could take that into. Actually wondering, is it the LFO? Yep, doing that. That wave. Very cool. Love it. I mean, anything retro video game wise, I'm in. And also something we really haven't touched at all is the real-time tweakability of everything. You can, automate layers to come in and out, which is an entirely different aspect of this instrument that we haven't even touched on. But obviously, it's luckily obvious to a lot of you. That's really funny. Cool. Again, I'm sold whenever I hear that, but yeah, we're just gonna have to start forcing our way through this. Very cool options there. Oh, sorry, my bad. I didn't actually change the preset, I just previewed it. Absolutely stunning. I mean, I was pushing the fourth layer for that distortion. It did exactly what I wanted it to do. Very, very, very beautiful. And there you have that seventh semitone again, which sounds great to me. Yeah, I mean, again, we could dig into these layers, but I mean, it's just really, really beautiful. Very nice. Full sound, but like a darker tinted take on it. Beautiful, full shifting sound. loving this. Very kind of minimal sounds, but they say so much, which is a sign of great sound design. Okay, we have gone through stuff for the Divergent. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do some Convergent sounds in here. I think the main thing, or the main goal here, is to kind of give you an idea of the difference between the tones. So as you can see, the presets are the same when they have the same name. The only difference is the source sounds, that they are treated differently in the ways that we touched on in the beginning, going through metal sheets or oil drums, etc. So these should, in theory, be, I don't actually know. I mean, I would sort of expect them to be more brash, more chaotic, more resonant for sure, because metal tends to do that. But we'll see. If I was a smart man, which, let's face it, we know the truth of that, I would have favorited some of my favorites in here, and we could have revisited those and play them. But live and learn, I guess. I will try and be better in this regard in the future. But we'll take something from. I was going to say each, but we can't do that. That's too many. Even if we took one out of all of these numbers, it would still be 60. So let's not do that. But let's start picking some Convergent sounds here. So I'm going to reference the manual once again to refresh my memory on what's what. So again, layer 1 is the raw recording. So this should be the same. Yes, makes sense. So layer 2 is oil drum. Yes, good. Layer 3 is the thunder sheet. And 4 is the l'homme chiffon. Cool. Okay. Got it. I got it right here in my head. Sort of. So I just want to understand the differences here. Okay, so this is the oil drum. It's a lot more controlled than I expected. This is the thunder sheet. Oh, I love that. It's kind of like very subdued and subtle. These are actually, I mean, for this sound at least, not as crazy as I expected. L'homme chiffon. This is, these are actually really cool. I'm really digging these because I was expecting like a resonant, crazy thing that's just like, but these are actually very subtle. Thunder sheet. Nice. It's like a perfect step up from the l'homme chiffon. It's like a brighter, more radiating sound. And then going to the oil drum. Yeah, much more forward, bit of that resonance that we expected from the metal. These complement each other super nicely because they're kind of like steps they step really nicely, and they have meaningful but followable enough steps between the differences. This seems really, really good. Okay, so I'm super impressed by this. These are genuinely lovely, useful, interesting variances of the same sound source. Because again, this is like the darkest one, the sort of more subdued. I mean, you could like build a track basically just by using these three layers, going from darker to a bit more light, and then you have this sort of very, more upfront but still resonant, beautiful sound. These are like super useful. You can really build a track nicely using these. I have to remember to try and press on the Convergent one. I was not expecting to like this layer or the Convergent folder or the approach as much as I'm doing, but this is fantastic. So this is the layer 2. Beautiful sense of physicality there. Beautiful sense of actually having that sound source in front of you. This is the Thunder sheet. Wonderful. I just want to know how much of this is... Okay, so it is interacting a bit with that, but there's a wonderful, like, still like naturally distorting sounding sound to that. Fantastic. All right, let's be super, or try to be super cruel with the selection process here. beautiful resonance there in the bottom. So this is what the raw sound sounds like. Raw sound sounds like. So here you can really see the beauty of this method, because going from that to so you can get a very nice like lo-fi sound just from that sound source or traveling through that medium. And this is the L'Homme-Phone. I just love how you can hear the actual material respond to the incoming frequencies. For some of the sounds, obviously, any given material is going to resonate more with certain frequencies. And this is really the beauty of this, because it becomes alive. It's responding to the input, the actual sample going into the material. This is very nice. And I can't. I can't believe it, but these layers are so useful. You go from this dark, subdued thing to a bit more open, but still kind of dark lo-fi, and then you go into this more sort of open, more brash sound. Yeah, it's almost like a natural kind of filter. Imagine if you kind of faded between these layers as you build through your track. It's going to sound really good. Yeah, here the noise does disguise it a bit. Where is that coming from? Oh, it's the bit crushing. Yeah, these are all like brilliant different colors to it. I love the thunder sheet for like, especially if you do a lot of lo-fi stuff. That's going to be amazing. Yeah, I mean, here the layers are like distinctively different. What's beautiful is that every material is going to respond differently to different types of sounds. They're going to resonate them more or less. So it's really cool. I mean, this is beautiful. These sounds are like so different. Listen to how that top end sound kind of sparks the material. Yeah, I do like that the oil drum can get really trashy as well. That's really good. Really amazing. I can't believe, I mean, I can, but it's it's the same sound source, but just through different materials, essentially, and differently recorded. But fantastic. This is like, I think for Convergent, I feel like I would probably go more for different types of blends of sounds rather than in the Divergent folder, because that's more like, still more like the source sound, but just mic'd through amps and a space. But these ones, because they're sort of, the differences are bigger, and they're sort of in different mediums. They're not sort of in the same space because they're coming through different materials, these sounds. It's sort of, for example, here, I can see how I can, blending layer 1 and 2 pair really well because I get the juiciness, the fullness of the layer 1, but layer 2 gives me that slight brash top end distortion trashy thing. So this would probably be in general something that I'd use to blend sounds together a lot more. I mean, if you're into lo-fi, this should be super appealing, I think. Beautiful. I mean, I just love these layers. They're so good. They all just have their own color. I mean, these deeper, darker tones are just wonderful. Here, I love that we get so much space. Like something like this paired with an orchestra is wonderful. This is why I love these approaches of reamping or putting a sound into a space. In this case, it's a material rather, but it just, you get the full point of the sound, the full function of the sound, but nothing extra. And you get sprinkled on top all of this like character and this grit and texture. And then you have still all of this rest of the space to fill in with an orchestra, for example. Cool. Okay, that's very interesting. So for layer 2, the kind of the of the original source sound does still come through the oil drum, but then it kind of gets cut out with the thunder sheet, which is kind of like, again, like a lo-fi, scooped up, sort of mid-focused thing. And then the sound of this last layer, this is beautiful. The low end there is beautiful, just perfectly like captured. Very, very nice. Didn't quite harmonize the way I wanted to. Well, let's keep it there and we'll change the layer. Fuck off. Yeah, I gotta do this. I mean, wow. I mean, I could just build a track on this. Start with layer 4, beautiful, dark, full, and then let it open up a bit into layer 3, and then finish with layer 2. You could even go with 1, but I would probably keep it, you know, if I did some ambient stuff like that. That's just insanely beautiful. I can't believe the tones, like how well those sounds sing. It's just incredible. I think that's a good point to end the Convergence folder here. We're going to manually pick out the 20 relics. Presumably they're the ones with not con or div behind them. So let's look for those and play the ones that sound interesting. I just want to check this in layers. So layer 1, this is the original sound, I think. I think I have accidentally maybe learned the sustain pedal for this control. So let's redo that. Already this source sounds incredibly juicy. Let's refresh our memories. So, okay, layer 2, Relics, re-recordings of the source material onto 1/4-inch tape. So that's pretty wobbly. Layer 3 is cassette re-recordings further using boutique effects. Geez, and then micro cassette re-recordings further boutique effects in layer 4. So things are probably going to get wobbly. So these are definitely going to be some of those things that you fade in. The wobbliness was on that one quite intense. So I wonder, as far as I can tell, if that's in the samples, there ain't much you can do about that unless it's coming from the LFOs somehow. But I don't see how that makes sense since these should be global, right? Let's keep playing. This third layer has insane texture. That's really beautiful. I'm thinking that I would want to control the wobbliness of that. So the only thing I can think of would be the LFO. As far as I can tell, that's in the sample. So that would be something I would definitely love control over in case I don't want to go as wobbly, but want to go lo-fi. I love the textures that are coming from especially the layer 3. I like the sound of all of these. Again, I would prefer the wobbliness to be less. But again, it depends on, like, I understand if they sampled it in a way where that couldn't be avoided. I guess they could have probably done it with less wow and flutter, but I just absolutely adore the texture and the nuances in the third layer. They are insanely good. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I mean, it's just, yeah, super cool. I mean, the textures are just like insane. It's gonna be so good for, like, I'm thinking dark ambient here again, not surprisingly, probably, but wow. And again, you can just layer them in such a nice way. I guess if I can't, I say, yeah, I can make the LFOs wobble less, but as far as I can tell, and please do correct me if I'm wrong here, I can't do more than that, because I think it's in the samples themselves, the wobbly doubly stuff. So I think they're sort of like, I'm someone who would love to use those by themselves, and in that case I would love control over the amount of wow and wobble and flutter and whatever else. No, I don't mean like I need specific control over those things necessarily. Would be nice, but the main thing is the pitch wobbliness amount, because I would love to use these by themselves, because I get kind of the impression that, because the wobbliness is not a big deal if you're using this source sound and then kind of like blending something here in there with it. It's perfectly fine, because the pitch is still dominantly in the first layer and noticeable that way. Oh God, I love this graphic so much. But yeah, if you want to use them by themselves, you kind of seems like you have to go with the amount of fluctuation that's there. But dear Lord, do they sound beautiful. Is the textures are so good. It's like a dark ambient lo-fi thing, paradise. By the way, I should say on that previous preset, the layer 2 had like the perfect amount of wobble. I wouldn't even want to adjust that, but layer 3 seems to go a bit more crazy, so. That imaging, that weight, that heft, and I love that it's like the low is super established, and then we have this like beautiful haziness on top of it. It's like super subtle and mature. Just that wash. And I love that it doesn't have too much high end, because it would sort of destroy the vibe. Again, the texture on the layer 3 is incredible. Yeah, I know there's that harmonization going on there. Yep, there's the 7th. I just had to try that major, but it doesn't quite work. Again here, layer 2, perfect amount of wobble there. It's just so much vibe in that layer. Jeez, so good. I understand that they probably wanted to give it like this crazy sound. I mean, let's mix 2 and 3. I'm out of here. That's really good. I mean, just blending those two together works really, really well. There's just something magical about, like, I love the textures you get in that kind of really dark tape, like cassette vibe. It's like this kind of wall of low and like in water, but then you get these tiny micro beautiful details coming out of it. It's like looking at this sort of like something super hyper resolution thing in terms of texture visually. Like, I get a very strong visual response to that, and it's just something magical about that sound. It's like this wall that you're almost like drowning in, but then it has all this surface detail that's just incredible. I think they really, really nailed it. Yeah, I mean, listen to those slight like tape whining noises. I'm gonna love this one. Yeah, really good. Demonstrates a lot of the different aspects that you can what's the word, emphasize with different processing from the of the sound of the tape. Cool. Looks like the rest of them were convergent or divergent sounds. Cool. Well, this colossal endeavor has finally come to an end, largely due to the fact that I was probably just getting into it a bit too much. But no regrets. It's absolutely wonderful library. I mean, how to summarize this thing? So, first and foremost, wonderful source samples. Everything is, captured brilliantly, beautifully. I like the source samples themselves. They are sort of like they say, a mixture of analog and digital, but they have this sort of certain character about them, like this sort of, what should I say? Kind of like a darker, colder, maybe futuristic, dystopian vibe to them. This is like a very rough generalization, because of course you can do a bunch of other stuff with these sounds, but at least to my taste, they have this sort of like a futuristic darkness to them. Like there's a uniting theme underneath the selection of the sounds. They have this sort of a kind of a good type of a coldness to them. But like we said many times, like the sampling is super, super juicy with a lot of the maybe more analog leaning sounds. So don't let that sort of, mislead you into thinking that it's only like colder sounding. But looking at the Divergent sounds, or is it Divergent, not Divergence. I would see those as taking the source sounds, the source samples, and putting them in a physical space. It gives them this kind of three-dimensionality, this kind of like organic X factor that's, in my experience, impossible to get without actually recording something really, really well in a good sounding space. Like I have a bunch of reverbs, a bunch of things that kind of try and emulate that, but the results are, they just don't have that X factor. So I would look at the Divergent folder as providing you with that. Of course, you can always go with the raw sound. You can just use the first layer and go with that. And that's one of the beauties of this thing. It's like, it doesn't restrict you in how you work. You can use this thing in so many different ways. Like I can imagine some people just love the source synth sounds and use it for that. And then I can imagine a lot of people do a bunch of sculpting with these three layers to, for example, make their synth stuff sit well with an orchestra or like a hybrid context. So I love the flexibility in here. Obviously in this demo, I've heavily emphasized the things that I personally like and do, but that's the name of the game. But hopefully the demonstration still gives you an idea of, that's what I would want to do with this, even though Marcus is doing X, Y, or Z. So yeah, I think the Divergent folder is really, really good for that flexibility. The Convergent folder I was really blown away by that, because going into it, knowing that it was using mainly, metallic sound, or I should say metallic objects to, resonate with these source sounds. I was kind of worried that it would be too resonant and metallic and kind of brash and chaotic and out of control. Completely opposite thing. The second layer there is kind of most leaning into that direction, but it's so maturely captured. Like, I'm impressed how they could find ways to actually resonate these objects, like the oil tank or oil drum, I guess, and the thunder sheet, and then the l'homme whatever that was resonating. Oh yeah, that was another thunder sheet. So I think very impressed how incredibly mature those sounds are, how controlled they are. Like, you get the darkest layer here with the layer 4, and then a slightly sort of brighter one, but still kind of lo-fi, less low-end focused, beautiful for like lo-fi stuff. And then you get the kind of brashier, more resonant, distorting layer in the 2. And these are beautiful ways to like build a song. Start with layer 4, then 3 and 2, assuming your track follows that kind of a typical arc. But I was really blown away by those. They're just absolutely stunning sounds. And yeah, with the Divergent folder, I would probably usually lean into using like one layer at a time. And then probably as I transition into a different section, the second layer was more like full-bodied, slightly has more low end, kind of full, juicy, bit of a top end roll off. Third layer is kind of brighter and more focused, and then the fourth layer is doing that Korg MS-20 distortion, so it's kind of like bringing this crisp stuff in there. So I'd probably use them more sort of individually, but with the Convergent folder or sounds or approach, I would actually layer them a bit more. I would still use that approach of doing one section with one sound, but I found that they layer a bit better. The Relics were absolutely amazing. This is actually an aspect of this library that I would want to expand. I would actually love a library that only does that as well. The lo-fi tape qualities there are just so well captured, and they're well thought out. The only thing there that I don't think I could tweak was the amount of wobble and kind of pitch wobble that was happening in each sound. I think it is baked into the sounds there. In some cases it was perfect, like with layer 2 often it was the case. Then layer 3 things went a bit more crazy, and then layer 4 is so kind of like top end focused that you don't really hear it as much, which is fine. The layer 3 texture is just like insanely beautiful, like this perfect, crazy, chaotic, broken lo-fi wall of sound. But yeah, my only gripe is that I would want to have control over the pitch wobble if it was going a bit too crazy. And then secondarily, I just want more of the Relics, because I thought they were so good. And again, there with the Relics, I did find myself sort of combining layers a bit more than I would for something like the Divergent folder. Overall, I was really impressed by how this has a lot of the time this like beautiful graininess and a beautiful like haziness on the top of the sound scape. It's beautiful, like this has a very distinct sound of its own. It's kind of like grainy, hazy, gray, dark, a bit like not cold, but maybe a bit chilly. Beautiful, unique sound. Like truly, there's nothing that sounds like this thing. It sounds like its own thing, which is always fantastic for any kind of a instrument, unless you're specifically looking for like a multi-tool that can bend to a lot of things. But in general, this does that its own sound beautifully. And again, like it has this full, really nice, juicy low and mid part, and then on top we have this, like when I say graininess, like it's like super smooth, lovely, grainy, hazy stuff on top that they repeatedly can deliver on. So it's fantastic. I really love that sound. I did find myself playing a lot of these kind of like, there are a lot of like simple synthesis sounds here, which obviously will always lend themselves really well to a lot of like retro video game music stuff. Or if you do like that with a lo-fi twist, it's gonna crush in that department. Something like if you listen to like Disaster Piece or an artist like anything like in that ballpark, fantastic. This will also be like fantastic for lo-fi music in general and give you like that very nice, specific, maybe more subdued, darker lo-fi tone, especially. For dark ambient music, absolutely fantastic. Any kind of cinematic, darker drama, underscoring, or anything like, yeah, let's go with that. Cinematic, darker stuff. This is fantastic. So those are really the main things that I picked from this. But every once in a while, you can also get like fuller, bigger, sort of, how should I say it, synth sounds that do come from a more middle of the road traditional place, but this still feels like it wants to bend into that, darkness to me. So, and I also like that you do get these same presets with the Convergent and the Divergent approaches, because it kind of means, like, I talked a lot about layering sounds here. So you can build a sound with layer 4 going into layer 3 and layer 2, but then that's kind of doubled, because you can also go from like convergent sounds into divergent sounds. So you could have basically, 7 different layers. So 3 plus 3 plus the source sound, which is always the same, 7 different layers for a single sound to build your track. And again, this is, I said this earlier during the demo, but in this summary also very much worth mentioning, is that you always do get the same sound, which is like, bear with me as I explain this, which is a wonderful thing, but you get a different take on the sound, a different perspective, because I would imagine and I know a lot of developers have this temptation to make everything super different, which tells me that this is like a super mature, high fidelity, like very much for, I should say, like a audio sonic connoisseur in a sense. Like you understand tiny details and changes in a sound, and you value those textural and tonal differences, and you want to have control over those things. So when you open the source sound, that's obviously going to stay the same, and these different layers are going to be different takes on that same sound, which is going to be wonderful because it allows you, again, to build your track maybe around that single sound, but also change it and fluctuate it as you go through your track. And again, chasing that perfect texture. Like, you have a good sound, but could it be better? Could I approach it or do it somehow differently? These give you like fantastic different perspectives on that, and you can find exactly the thing you're looking for. And then you can obviously blend them together as well. But I think this is like a very, very mature, how should I put this? It's like a sonic sculpting tool for those who appreciate textural and tonal nuances and differences a lot. But that being said, a lot of the differences are sometimes more nuanced. Like in the Divergent folder, probably the differences between layer 2 and 3 are the sort of closest one, and everything else does go further apart from one another. But again, there, the difference is like, do you want to go a bit brighter or a bit less and fuller or thinner, and that kind of stuff. So it's very much appreciated when it comes to composers who really appreciate those textural and tonal differences. Cool. Is there anything else we want to touch on? Yeah, I really, really like this thing. And again, I want to appreciate the usability of this. Again, I love this kind of visual feedback. I think it looks wonderful, it works wonderfully. Everything is clearly laid out. As I said earlier, this is super easy to follow. Not once did I get lost in this or not know what to do. Everything is super clear, clean, concise, easy to locate and follow and use. And it's just a blast to use. And again, whoever did this visual stuff for this, good job, because it's wonderful to work with and wonderful to look at. So cool. I think this is it for this video. I'm sure some of you already have this, so let me know what you think of this instrument, and certainly, as always, let me know what you think of this video. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Finished.